Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of a brand new season of the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series, a part of Racers Elite. As we're excited to bring you all the action from iRacing's virtual Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Maconi Entertainment is here bringing action from all types of racing, including this series, the Full Length Cup Challenge, and Fast Fridays. No matter what you are racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me for this action tonight is Dylan Coyle. Our producer this evening is Christian Hill. This evening, we're excited to bring you the start of a brand new campaign. We've seen how last week fared out for drivers a part of a recruitment race. Now we start off the real thing, the chance to score points over the course of this regular season up before that chase starts at New Hampshire, Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely, and pleasant good evening to everybody tuning in on Maconi Entertainment. We're glad to be bringing you the action live here from Fontana tonight. 2-mile circuit, of course, it's going to be an 80-lap race. The rules in this Racers Elite Tuesday Truck Series stipulate that we will only have 65% fuel, meaning you can go around 50 laps or so on a full tank. Will that happen? Or excuse me, it's going to be like around 30 laps or so on a full tank. So it's probably going to be a two-stop race. Unfortunately, this track was closed permanently in 2023. JP, you ever get the chance to come here in real life?
Did not get the chance to, unfortunately, since it is in California, but these drivers will be California dreaming tonight, as they've already completed qualifying. Truth Hoke will start on the pole. Troy Thomas starts alongside him, the difference about 21 one-thousandths of a second. Blair Hoyman will start in third with Alex Gates in the fourth position. Fifth spot goes the way of Barry Nelson. Philip Archibald will start in sixth. Seventh goes the way of Andrew Teft, one of the separate brother combinations in the series. Haas Beverly looking for a clean run tonight in eighth. Rounding your top 10, Jesse Fox and Curtis Ecker is in 10th, Dylan.
Continuing to move down the board, Steve Castle will start on the inside of row number 6 with Kirby Wainscott in the number 10 Toyota Tundra truck in 12th. Rob Yost Jr. in 13th with Alan Bergen in the 00 machine in P14. Alex Teft, one of those brother combinations right there in the 43 Tundra, alongside Frank Chavez in that 13 Aztec Sim Sport truck. Sean Dunaway alongside Brandon Sanfilippo in 17th and 18th. And the rest of the leaderboard, Kensley Smith will be in P19. Trucks are rounding 3 right now. We're almost ready to get this race underway, JP.
This race is going to be 80 laps or 160 miles here tonight. We talked about the fuel mileage. These drivers only 4 tire sets in the pits here this evening. 2 green-white checkers if necessary. Remember, these drivers must have a minimum of 1,000 I rating for the most part for these drivers, or a B safety rating. The cap is 3,500. These drivers are ready to see how this season starts. We're happy to have you with us here at Maconi Entertainment. We're underway for Racers Elite from Fontana. Good start as we make our way down the back straightaway already. Troy Thomas taking the lead from the high side. Hope not giving up though as he keeps the pedal to the metal. Kept it planted as there goes Thomas, able to keep the lead to lead the first lap.
A pretty aggressive move to get to P1 right there. 3 wide in a battle for second. Remember, these drivers do have 1 fast repair, which means you'll probably see a little bit more intensity in this early form racing in this 80-lap event.
You don't want to rely upon it though, Dylan. We've seen so many times someone burns it early, then crashes 10 laps later, let's say, and it ends up costing them. So how would you drive this racetrack here tonight with the trucks, especially with it being under the lights at a multi-group track like this?
I mean, this track, of course, the configuration that iRacing has it, and for how it was for a long time before it all kind of ended its tenure. It's a track that eats tires, right? You run it under the lights, though, and it does change the complexion a little bit. Tire wear will be lessened. Grip should last for a relatively longer time. They're going to have to run out the fuel run, right? If they can make it 30 laps, they should get close to there. It's going to be a two-stop strategy kind of race. I don't think we're going to see 3. We're absolutely not going to see 1. And it's all about momentum here. So you've got to make sure you stay in the draft. If you lose it, it's going to be hard to get back to a fighting stance.
That I can definitely agree with. It's so difficult if you're in the back of the field to make up ground unless you have a very fast truck. Of course, these drivers essentially on the same setups, fixed setups as mentioned. So it's all about the driver skill to be able to do something. Kensley Smith is doing some work though. Smith is up 7 so far. It's one of the drivers in the exhibition race last week who did not have a good run at all. Had a lot of attrition, had a lot of incidents. Starting off the right way, just slice and dicing.
I mean, that's all you can do when you do start at the back of the pack. Kensley Smith started in 19th place in that 15 machine that has those DEI stripes, it looks like, across the, yeah, that's a good throwback to a Budweiser machine from the early 2000s. I like the look of that. But it's a Coca-Cola machine. Different beverage, a little bit more friendly to anyone under 21 or 18 in Canada.
I mean, Coca-Cola's Coca-Cola.
Gotta go for it sometimes.
Yes, indeed. Right now, he's driven up to 11th. Kensley has so far in this run. One of the drivers to keep an eye on here is the one in 10th position just in front of them right now, Rob Yost Jr. Yost Jr. runs a fair amount of leagues, usually has good long run speed. The 83 machine hasn't been able to make up too much ground yet, only up +3. But I wouldn't be surprised if Yost Jr. is in the conversation for the lead later on here tonight.
Yeah, don't look too fast, but that gap from P1 to P2, it's starting to become less of a 3/10, 4/10. It's starting to look like, at least going into 3, it was underneath a 1/10 of a second. Of course, all this momentum, it is going to be difficult to keep the lead once you've got it right nose to tail. Not even one truck length separating the 3 machine and the 32. Way down on the inside goes Truth Hope, and it's a 3 truck battle for the race lead. Great momentum for the 32, JP.
Laura Hoyman, all he can do is push, and more pushing. Not electing to force the issue for the race lead quite yet. That's the Zoo Yost Racing Machine up on the top shelf. The Misfits Racing Machine of Hoke still trying to watch the popcorn scene. There goes the move. Hoyman able to fake out Thomas, force him low. Hoyman's been preferring the wall through 1 and 2. And looks like he'll try and make the move up on the top shelf. Can he finish the job? The answer is yes. There it is. 32 in the lead.
Yeah, as long as Blair Hollyman had the outside and was not letting the 3 get back to the wall on the exit of 2, it was going to be a fairly simple move. Same thing will go for Truth Hope right here, way up towards that outside wall. That momentum will be fierce, but will he be able to clear Troy Thomas? He passes just a few inches ahead. Going down into 2, though, it looks like Thomas will get back in line.
And Dylan, it looks like that top line is the line to run right now. How do you break that pattern knowing it's going to be hard to pass these drivers who just choo-choo train up on the top of the racetrack?
I mean, it's so difficult, right? It's you know, there's those sayings that I can't quite remember right now. How does an elephant eat one bite at a time, right? That's how you've got to do it. Each truck, each pass is going to be its own battle. Don't try and take out chunks, big chunks every single lap. Just try at this stage of the race to make one move, work on it for a few laps. If you can't get it done, then work harder the next couple of laps. The top three, top four really, they're in a battle for the lead right now. Everybody else, they should just be focusing on making the most out of each lap, getting one move done at a time. No panic is necessary right now. We've got a lot of racing to go tonight.
Plenty of racing to deal with. 70 laps coming up to go already in this one. Hulk is making the bottom work in 3 and 4 to be able to at least get to the door, but not enough for the draft. So the top 4 have essentially broken away by everybody else by 0.6 of a second, by the way. Alex Gates is now that 4th truck in the fight. Thomas has to figure out a way to stop the bleeding here. Another spot being lost down the back straightaway for that 3 truck.
I mean, to me, you just got to stay in line on the top. If he was able to get to the outside line after losing 1st and 2nd, he should have absolutely done that. Oh, way down onto the apron, Troy Thomas goes. That is some more time being lost, and I wonder if his tires are screaming a little bit after running that bottom lane so tight up against that apex for the last few laps. Gonna have to try and get back into a rhythm right here, but it's gonna be tough because Andrew Teff is right on the bumper.
Teff, one of the drivers, has had plenty of success in this series. We talked about him being the back-to-back series champion coming in. He right now rides in the 5th position, up 2 so far. And he looks to try and find his way ahead. He was a contender last time out when it came to the exhibition at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And of course, being a champion adds so much in terms of expectations as a driver for when you get a season underway like this one.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a higher expectation, and sometimes that can lead to a little bit of a lull in concentration. However, these seasons are so close to each other, right, that you don't necessarily have that 2-3 month kind of vacation. I don't even think it's a vacation. I would not consider a off season in professional auto racing a bit of a vacation, but you kind of get into a lull. You start to settle into a new routine. These guys have only had a little bit of time to settle into any other new routine, as right behind Teff, Barry Nelson scraped the wall. That's going to lose some momentum for him just as Teff gets to 1 truck length behind Troy Thomas.
There goes Teff to the inside, looking to make the move. Trying to slip his way into the conversation for the leaders. And he does so on the inside. That kind of showcases just how bad the tires have now gotten on the 3, who, while Thomas is at speed compared to the leaders, just not had the consistency. All of this as well. Gates has driven up to 2nd, by the way, with Hope trying to run the inside. The 77 now on the charge, looking to see if there's a chance that the 77 can take away the lead.
Yeah, Alex Gates with a very solid charge up to the front. Oh, look at that. It might be some scrapes and a little bit of blinking from the 32 of Blair Hollyman. I wonder if that's going to be impacting everybody else's chance to get past him right now. It's hard to know where to go on the track when you can't see your competitor even for brief half seconds at a time.
Yeah, it affects the air, actually, that you run in. It's going to make it much more difficult to predict. Going from clean air to dirty air, clean air to dirty air, clean air to dirty air. Turns the pattern. So we'll have to see how that withstands here as this run goes on. Gates is trying to get some clean air on the left side tires here. Trying to see if there's a little bit more rotation to get, staying a little bit away from the wall.
Yeah, and that's something you got to do. You're not supposed to really get back on the throttle fully until you just have a straight shot to the straightaway. But again, these trucks, they're so much built about momentum. The other thing that if you go from racing into from a modern Cup Series kind of set up a Cup Series league with the next gen cars, all of that aero is built, all that downforce in the rear is built through the diffuser, the ground effect that comes from those cup designs. In trucks, though, you have that asymmetrical body. It almost looks like they're crab walking sometimes, especially as they're sliding around the corner. So it has a different effect on the aerodynamics of the trailing vehicle. But of course, it's easy in a truck race here to follow the cars, that follow the trucks, I should say, that are just in front of you. That's why it's so important to stay within the draft. Another thing, JP, we are getting closer and closer to that first, dare I say, green flag pit cycle.
Yeah, we are creeping towards that mark right now on the strategy. And for many of these drivers, they're going to have to think about how they're going to approach pit road, try and time things up on the runs here. Some of the drivers, such as the 43 Alex Teft, the brother to Andrew, some of these drivers need to figure out a way to gain a lot more time here in the strategy. They're in the lead draft, technically, but not enough to actually do much here. Sanfilippo also, you can argue, is in that same boat, and he was much quicker at Charlotte last week.
Yeah, and this is going to be a different type of race than Charlotte. Charlotte, it's a lot tighter. It is, I would almost say, the antithesis of speedway intermediate racing that you would get from Auto Club to Charlotte. So I think that he's going to be the kind of driver that does start to gain momentum as the race goes on. As we see on our screen, Andrew Teft has gotten by Alex Gates, and now we've got another competitor for the lead of this race. I'll tell you what, great job from Blair Hollyman for holding on to the lead for as long as he has been holding on to it. But will he be able to hold off Andrew Teft? I'm not so sure. We'll have to see. The view from behind Hollyman, though, does look good. A few truck lengths of an advantage.
Teft is amongst those trying to use the second line more so than the top line, and has been working it efficiently. He's got a better run, actually, than Hollyman. Hollyman on the high side, inside for Teft. Tech issue for the leader, but 98 not going to be disturbed by that. Teft looking for the slider for the race lead. Will take it away. New leader, Teft.
Fight back.
Teft gets crossed over.
Yeah, whenever you pull off a slide job, you've got to be ready for that crossover to happen. And what a fantastic job from Blair Hollyman to get back out in front. I mean, listen, the 98 is going for it again here, using all of the available grip in those Goodyear tires to get down to the inside and put some air onto the left rear. Can't do it, though. Back in line.
Pit window opening up this time by the way. Lots of drivers calling for pit stops already. The driver at the back of the field went down at 20 to come into 21. Hollyman is coming in this time. There's a look at those taking the service, 4 tires and fuel. If they end up coming up in like this pattern all race, this will be a 3-stop rather than a 2-stop you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at this point, they are close to being able to make it on just one more stop. I think they could potentially make it on one more stop, especially if there is a caution or maybe 2. However, it might just be the better option to go for a 2-stop strategy as we look at the 77 of Alex Gates. Back now in the second as Teft got by and trying to fend off Troy Thomas, unless, yes, both of them going down to pit road at the end of lap 22.
Hearing one driver did get a black flag. Barry Nelson picked up a black flag in his pit cycle, and he had an issue on his pit exit. That's why he had a black flag, apparently the 196. Rest of the field now sees a lot of people calling for pit stops. Much of the field peeling in once again this time. Try to stretch this on the overcut.
It's not the worst move to try and stretch it on an overcut. The more laps you're able to do, as we see more drivers come down pit road, the more comfortable I will be with the idea of making this a two-stop race. I came into it thinking that 2 stops was possible. The longer these drivers go, they will be able to prove that fact exactly. However, it does get to a certain point where if the 2-stop is so close that you have to really start to lift and coast, then what is the advantage that you would actually get from a 2-stop strategy?
If you get to that point, that's the big thing. So just about the entire field has completed service here. And the battle for the net lead could get interesting. Andrew Tempt has rolled out of pit road already. But right now, the driver who's first on the track getting on the outside, you see a big amount of time gained for Kensley Smith. Sanfilippo Manzo's peeling on down, but it's side by side for the race lead now on the track. Smith had gone from the back of the main group to the front with a 1-lap undercut. Hollyman zips around the inside, takes the lead back easily.
Yeah, I like the strategy, though. You never know where the undercut or overcut will end up until you try it. By the way, everyone has come down pit road at the end of lap 24. So, does that answer our question? Can they go on a 2-stop strategy? I would say no. It looks like this race will absolutely come down to 3 stops unless a lot of caution periods are to come. And after almost 25 laps, we haven't seen a single one, JP.
Clean and green so far. No contact at all, it seems, in this field tonight. Have had one drop peel off the racetrack and pull out the 00 Sean Dunaway. Had elected to park it. Everybody else is still running in this race here at Auto Club. And the thing about this strategy for the pit stop sequence is top 2 have a chance to be able to dictate the pace here, but remember, fresher tires from 3rd on back in this group. Gates is just holding on to the draft. Then you have much faster times right now for Thomas and company. So some of these drivers are right now doing a very solid job of just trying to chip away the gap, running the floorboards doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to that statement I said earlier where you've got to just try and chip away at it 1 pass at a time. This race is long. The important thing, though, is this race does look like it's going to have some lengthy green flag stints. If that is the case, then making sure you hit all your marks perfectly and don't get black flagged coming down for green flag pit stops is going to be key. Look at the gaps we're starting to see now form throughout the field. 1st through 7th, they're relatively close together. You've got almost a 2-second gap between Jesse Fox and Curtis Ecker, 7th and 8th place. And look at the gap then between 13th and 14th from Wayne Scott to Chavez. That's a 5+ second gap. You're not getting that back on a green flag run.
No, you're not. You need a caution flag at this point. One chance to be able to close things up. And right now, some of these drivers just looking for a decent start to the championship for their quest to become a title contender. Right now, these drivers in this pack, 4 seconds back, as you said. So, for the most part, everyone just running their own race, just driving the track, if anything, doing.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what they're going to have to do. Just stay with the group that you're with, and good things may come. At this point, I mean, it's going to take something spectacular for Alex Teft to catch back up. I mean, he's going to have to hope for slowdowns. He's going to have to hope for a really good second green flag pit stop if it does come to that point. 1.7 seconds, you're almost in the range of getting a draft effect. It's not going to be the easiest thing to do, however, as we start to see some more drivers all getting involved here in this battle for 8th place. And Teft has a lot on his shoulders right now because the 8 of Haas Beverly, or Curtis Ecker, excuse me, is now getting passed by Beverly, and Sanfilippo is also trying to make a move. So not the easiest thing right now for Alex Kapp.
He's doing a decent job, though, at what he's doing, though. Just driving his own run, and whatever everyone else tries to plan things out. Sanfilippo, he's taking a 3 wide for a moment. Thought about a poke around Beverly. Yeah, just couldn't get the run.
Yeah, couldn't get the run right there. It was a good look, though. It definitely gets them thinking about it next time by. Look at this, the 22 trying to slide and slot in between the 8 and 43. The gap closed. There was hesitation, and now we're going 3 wide here over the start-finish line.
So we'll see where this now breaks down and plays out here. Rest of the field still trying to plot and plan things out as they go now on the racetrack.
Look at the 22 right up on the 8's left rear, trying to put some unfortunate turbulent air that the 8 machine, Curtis Ecker's driving, will have to deal with. I mean, it's all part of the game, right? Look how close the side draft. It is a very tried and true method. Side draft usually slows both drivers down, but if you can get to that left rear, put your right front fender kind of right up against it, it starts to slow the leading car a little bit down, more so than yourself. Oh man, they almost came together there in the accident too.
Just a little bit of contact nearly there, but not too much. Hans Beverly was those who was a bit of a bowling pit when it came to incidents last time out at Charlotte in the exhibition race. It's been fine this time around. Sanfilippo, by the way, this entire pack is running quicker than your race leaders here. The thing is, over the course of this run, they've just not been able to find enough time to be able to get up to Jesse Fox, the bridge truck, with how things are going. The race leaders are starting to scrap a little bit. Troy Thomas taking a peek for the lead.
Yeah, Troy Thomas, Blair Hollyman, side by side on lap 33. We're getting closer to that halfway point, and these drivers are still scrapping and dueling it out for the lead of this race. Both go side by side. This is going to open up the door a little bit more for Andrew Teft and the rest of the top 5 to get involved.
All sorts of battling still amongst these drivers. Here we go. 3 for the lead. Remember, he started off looking strong before fading off after the pass by Hollyman. Hollyman able to keep the outside moving. Remember, fresher tires on the 3, even fresher tires on the 98 in this battle.
Yeah, this is very intense, and while those fresher tires aren't going to be doing a massive amount, it might give you half a truck length edge going into the corner. Are we seeing 3 wide for the lead of this race? We absolutely are. Edging ahead into 1 is Hollyman, but JP, will they be able to hold it?
That's the question. Hollyman not able to hold it. He hits the wall. So to the lead, Andrew Teft able to take the pass on them both, and 11 laps into the run, he looks to control things over the rest of this field. Some of these drivers not giving up though. Thomas still attempting things, Dylan, but Teft seems very composed here, able to get the move.
Yeah, look at this. Hollyman right into the back of Troy Thomas. I don't know if that was just bump drafting or a bit of a block. It doesn't matter. This is a 4-truck trade screaming into turn 1. I mean, this is exactly what we hoped for in terms of action. And by the way, Brandon Sanfilippo has fallen 1.6 seconds back, so the top 6 are sort of under a blanket. But I'd say a California king-size blanket. I'd say these 4 are under a twin-size blanket as the 32 gets into the wall.
Some of these drivers starting to get really tight. That 32 is now starting to get on the struggle bus here. A lot of these drivers starting to see the effects of the tire wear. That seems to be a big challenge for a lot of these competitors right now is trying to fight with what the tires are feeling, especially with the right front tire, it seems. And now how do you counteract that as these tires wear away? And if you push too early, how do you counteract that tire wear?
Goodness me, I mean, if you push too early, you're just going to try and hope that you can stay with the lead group, with the lead pack as this fuel run goes on. If I'm being quite honest, JP, it shouldn't be all that difficult for these drivers to keep their tires relatively fresh. With it being a 65% fuel capacity, they shouldn't be getting to the point of just having Goodyear rubbers screaming for life. They really should be okay. Now, if you push really hard at the beginning, you're obviously going to be hurting more so than the other drivers. So it's all about relativity, right? You want to be at a similar level to your competitors right around you. The 32, however, is really starting to struggle, running right up against the wall. The more that Blair Hollyman just scrapes up against that outside wall, the higher the possibility for some sort of problem to develop from it.
Keep in mind, pit stops are coming up. Kensley Smith just pit only 18 laps into the run. So the 15 has gone for the undercut. That's going to make things a bit challenging for their fuel windows the rest of the way here if it does remain green in this one. So, windows open, hearing a lot of people modulating the throttle a little bit as they get ready to peel on down here. So we'll see where things break down as these drivers come up to the window next time by.
Yeah, and this is even more interesting kind of deal here. It looks like they're all cutting it into 20-lap stints. So it's a 3-stop race for, I'd say, every single driver in the field. You're making your bet here. You know you won't be able to make it on one more stop, this being that last stop, but you can make it with an additional stop after this one. I mean, really the biggest thing we've got going for us here is that the top 5 are within a really healthy distance of each other as Blair Hollyman, the 32, says, I need tires and I need fuel, comes in right at the halfway point. That might be an undercut situation to keep an eye out for.
So, this is right on the window. Hearing a few drivers are calling for more stops. Jesse Fox, Rabiosos appealed in this time by. Ecker just called for a pit stop this time around. No indication yet from Tefton Company as they continue to stretch out the window. Already at the halfway point of this race, by the way. What's been a green flag run so far to begin things for the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series. Very quick and very clean so far in terms of the racing style. And that's exactly what you like to see as a league. Clean racing to begin a new season.
Yeah, I was absolutely going to say that, Justin. I mean, you absolutely want to see clean racing, and not just clean racing, but good racing, right? It's one thing to be clean and just run in line with each other the entirety of the race, but we've seen very close performance between the drivers up front in this race. We've seen very minimal contact, if any at all, between the drivers, at least fighting for the lead of this race. We have seen clean green flag pit cycles. This has been a fantastic start to this season 8 that we've got here in Racers Elite.
So we'll see what happens here for this field as we continue on, as Hoke still in the top 3. Able to make the pass on the 77. Truth has been looking very consistent here. Paint scheme pops, the truck's been clean. He's just been there. He's been consistently top 5 as there's the difference of fresh tires. Smith driving right on by them.
Yeah, and actually, I'm a little bit more surprised than I actually thought it would be with the timing difference. So if we look at Andrew Taft, last lap of 41.769, the fall off is greater than I imagined it to be. It's almost 1.8 seconds, 2 seconds, probably even more for more of the drivers in this field, and that's only over a 20-ish lap run. That's brutal. And could you imagine if the temperatures were even hotter, if we were racing under daylight? My goodness. It's only 71 degrees in the air, 74 on track. I am surprised with the rate of wear. Oh, big hit into the wall right there. Was that the 98 machine? In there, 55, I should say, of Truth Hope, currently the leader of this race.
I believe so, but still keeping on going as more pit stops underway, and this brings the leader on down. Troy Thomas gained a lot of time on the pit entry, though. And this would set things up for stops for them with about 10-15 laps to go. So these drivers doing a good job extending each of these windows.
Oh yeah, an absolutely phenomenal job for these drivers extending the windows right here. It's just going to give them more room to play with at the end of this race. Another idea that drivers could kind of look at, which I don't necessarily think they will, just because we see how important tire life is they can now play with maybe an extra second off of pit road because by courtesy of fueling up a little bit less. If they can make it to around 16 laps to go or so, they can afford to go without a couple gallons of fuel in pit road. It's just going to match up with the length of stop they want. They're going to get tires, right? We see the fall off. So I don't know how much it's going to change the strategy, but it does open it up just a little bit in case they want to.
There is a lot of flexibility now for some of these drivers. Sanfilippo coming on down this time. Hoka Monsos, who just completed service. Kensley Smith, yet again, is set to cycle to the net race lead over Blair Hollyman. Sanfilippo will come on down, look to hope for a bit more fresher tires to be able to push. Here's the net race lead yet again, though. Smith, 2-lap undercut compared to the 32. But it's a 4-lap undercut to the rest of the field. Here's the thing. They picked up a lot of time on the racetrack with the undercut, these two. They had a massive boondoggle of time.
Yeah, and that's really, really solid. My question is, how much will that hurt them once the going gets tough at the end of this run? Another question I've got is, because they've, remember, done that overcut, they've got or that undercut, they've got a lot less options, a lot fewer options to work with for that pit strategy. So you know they're probably going to have to fuel up. You know they're probably going to have to come down earlier than the rest of the field. Still, no matter what, the bill will be due, and it will be paid by Fontana's track surface. They're going to have slower laps as this run continues to go on. Their best hope is to work together right now to not try and fight each other, to extend this lead even more so when they do get to the next pit cycle, they're in a relatively healthy spot to hold on to the top 2 positions. It doesn't matter if they're teammates or not, or, I mean, they're not, so it doesn't matter, right? All that matters is just putting yourself in the position to win the race at the end. Both of these drivers' best chance is by working together right now.
We'll see if they elect to work together or if Hollyman just says, I want to lead. I want to be able to have clean air here.
Hey, if you lead right now, great, but you're going to lose the race later.
Yes, exactly. And keep in mind, they're already losing 0.4 of a second on average compared to those on the fresher tires. 5 seconds to gain, but they've picked up a fair bit of time where, depending on how this goes, it could get interesting depending on how things play out for their final stop, if the rest of the field has to gain a lot of ground with a lot less time to work with.
Yeah, 100%, and that's why I keep saying you've got to work together. You're going to lose time in these long, wide, sweeping corners. That's exactly what we're seeing right here from both the 15 and 32 machines. They're not giving each other any extra difficulties when it comes to dirty air, both running different lines going through corners 1 and 2. And here's something else to think about. When you do run right in behind each other or don't give yourself enough room to have to not deal with the turbulent air. Like right here, it's not necessarily the best. You're using, you have less available aerodynamic grip because it's being taken off from the truck in front. You're going to have to work the mechanical grip. The tires a little bit harder. It's going to hurt more as the run goes on. What we saw through 1 and 2, with both of them taking wildly different lines, like we're seeing sort of right here, not as much as last time. It has an incremental effect as the stint goes on.
So far, so good for this stint for these drivers as they continue on. For reference, Teft is leading the second pack with Thomas, Hoke, and Gates, all working together to try and chip away their respective gaps right now. We've also had an extended pit stop search for Alan Bergen. Bergen has jumped out of the truck, so it looks like we have our second DNF of the race. Yes, we do, as we're down to 17 trucks running. An impressive run here for the series so far. A clean run here today. And now, let's talk about some of the organizations, because for those wondering, Gensley Smith drives for a team called Drive It Extreme Incorporated, and they have drivers in all 3 packs right now. Smith in the lead. They have Gates in the second pack. They have Sanfilippo, who's in the third pack. Where's that communication lie when you have 3 teammates in 3 different spots?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is you don't really have that much to work with at the moment. This race is starting to reach its ending kind of stages. So data, right? Information, what's ahead, what they're feeling in the trucks. That's pretty much the only thing they'd be able to give each other right there. Otherwise, well, they're having completely separate races right there. And yeah, don't be alarmed. We are still racing.
Yeah, Blair Hollyman's technical situation's not looking great. We'll say that. For those wondering, that next pack should get up to the rest of the field here by the time we get towards the end of the pit window, because they're now down to 3 seconds the gap. Right now they are knocking down about, on average, 6/10 still quicker than everybody else. But right now this may hold them up. Thomas taking a poke, trying to get the run to the inside.
This is a good battle right here with 27 laps to go. The 3 machine of Thomas sliding up closer and closer to Andrew Teft, does not quite get the move done. This is helping out Kensley Smith and Blair Hollyman. It's not going to be the only thing that'll help. Continuing to work together will be massive, but the more that these drivers fight, the better it becomes for Smith and Hollyman. It's the same strategy separated by 3 to 4 laps apart. So pretty soon, in 6 laps to probably with 20 laps to go to around 16 to 15 laps to go, we're going to see that final pit window open up here.
Right now, these drivers are just doing one thing: closing up time in bunches. Even with that battling, they are gaining still 6/10 a lap. That's how quick and much fresher the Goodyear Eagles are. There goes a slight jump for Thomas. This is for the net lead for the group, and that's going to move Thomas up to 3rd on the racetrack as they get ready to try and take over the overall lead at this rate in about 3-4 laps.
Oh, it's fun to watch, isn't it? I love watching these drivers do battle right here. You see, oh my goodness, almost getting into the left rear right there was the 55 on the 98. You see that gap? It's just over a second now. I'll tell you what, Smith and Hollyman doing a fantastic job of just not damage control, but just negating the potential for damage to be done by that off strategy move. Look at that, they're right there, and they are getting aided a little bit by the draft of a lap car in front, so not the worst place in the world to currently be.
See the track map and how close things are now getting. They are now all in the same corners. Once again, now a battle going on for the group lead. Thomas getting a push. Hoke trying to move to the inside. Side by side now for fourth position on the racetrack. So Hoke tries to leapfrog some group members. Down to about half a second between them and the net leaders. Kensley Smith and Blair Hollyman now trying to break up some of the draft here. Does Kensley Smith come down though? He's already gone low.
Oh man, they almost went 4 wide for a second.
Looks like Kensley Smith's coming down this time.
Ooh.
Right now, edge of the window. Smith is going to be very close to make it on fuel the rest of the way. They're going to have to make it about 22 laps.
Should be fine. We've seen drivers go 23 and more in that first stint. However, that's a little bit too close for comfort. 3 drivers, almost 3 wide, all chasing Blair Hollyman, who is a sitting duck right now. I think, yes, he's coming down pit road this time. I think that's the signal.
Yes, he did. He just indicated with the press of the button. He is pitting. Better tell that's the 55. Hoke goes around and Hollyman enters pit road as safe as can be. So window is open. Coming around 20 to go next time by. And the battle for the overall lead is on between Thomas and Hoke. Smith has already completed service and will actually come out right beside this hornet's nest.
You know, I'm almost unsure if that was the right move that we saw from, trying to think, with Blair Hollyman as well as Kensley Smith, because in my opinion, you want to pit with your draft buddy, right? And they're on pretty much the same strategy. I hate trying to say, you know, it's racing, right? They're trying to beat each other, but I always try and think, what's the best move? I feel like Kyle Busch said something about that one time. To win the race, you got to work together, and that gives you your best shot at winning the race for yourself. So sometimes it's just a little bit more communication and a little bit more, you know, give and take that has to come from that.
Hoyman did not have as good of a pit run. Kensley Smith did not fall a lap down. The 32 did. The separation, at least 3 seconds or so on the racetrack. So a big time gap for them as the 55 comes in this time by. So now the overall leaders now really will come on in. Also coming in Steve Kessel, who is a lap down. Once those peeling on this time by. So the 15 is on their lonesome now for what would be the net lead. 77 still trying to keep things up with Teft as Teft indicates a pit stop this time by. Looks like Gates is going to follow them too, so a lot of these drivers finishing up their final service here in the race, Dylan.
Final pit stops happening right about now. My question is, Teft almost got real loose. Actually, did get real loose coming down to a slow speed into pit road. Now we're looking at fewer drivers having pitted for the final time in this race. Troy Thomas on an 18-lap stint. Brandon Sanfilippo is on the best potential tire life. Has the fewest laps on these tires, well, at least on the third set of tires that they were coming down for on pit stop number 2. Should have the freshest tires by the time this race ends with this upcoming stop for him. I wouldn't necessarily count Sanfilippo out completely just because of that, but it's going to be tough.
Going to be very tricky to gain all the time they need to have a shot here. As they are in this time by with Troy Thomas. A lot of time picked up on that entry, it looks like. Because Sanfilippo had been at least 7 truck lengths behind the 30 on entry. Blair Hollyman right now is indeed about 2 seconds back of your net leader, Kensley Smith, but only 2 seconds ahead of Andrew Teft. and that is on a 4-lap tire difference, 3-4 laps.
Yeah.
That gap isn't going to last for long.
No, not at all. It's not going to last long at all. Great job from these drivers so far. We have made it 63 complete green flag laps. Will it stay that way? I'm sure some drivers are starting to put their hopes and dreams on either the lack of or the addition of a caution period. Who knows what's going to happen by the time that this race reaches its conclusion?
Only one driver yet to pit so far in this window. Alex Teft is the only person not to peel down. They are about 19.5 laps into a run with a damaged race truck. Everybody else has completed service. They're battling for what is for net third on the track right now. Hoke on the outside, Teft to the inside. 1 lap difference on their Goodyear Eagles. The 98 not able to clear on by. And Teft, remember, he's been very good as a pusher, but he's been having a hard time here being able to make some of the passes on some of those on near equal equipment.
Yeah, this has been a bit of a difficult ride for these drivers on older tires as this race starts to meet its conclusion. Alex Teft currently the race leader, but Teft has yet to come down pit road. I mean, I'm sure Teft is hoping that Andrew, his brother, gets into maybe a slight bit of contact that gets a yellow out. That would not hurt his chances of winning the race. But Blair Hollyman in the lead, only by 3/10 on Kensley Smith. 14 laps to go here around Auto Club.
Teft still trying to go as long as he can, hoping for a caution flag has to be. So we can take the faster pair, get fresh tires, and the race lead. He has been running about 8th or 9th all night long in that machine. He's part of Chicken Coop Racing with the Tefts. Also with them, Curtis Ecker. Terms that window. By the way, things are getting interesting for the net race lead on the racetrack because already Kensley Smith's been passed by Hollyman. He's now been passed by Hoke. Hollyman only about 1 second up the road from all of these drivers on fresh tires with 13 laps to go.
It's going to be really tough to hold on to this lead. I mean, I feel like that pit stop, that last time in and out, we can do a little bit of a check here. Blair Hollyman was a 14.4 pit stop time. It was actually quicker than Truth Hoke, and it was 3.5 tenths slower than Andrew Teft. If we look at the total pit lane time, I mean, his was a lot slower, Blair Hollyman, than most of the field. Alex Teft, by the way, last driver to come down pit road for a scheduled final stop. He goes in and gives the race lead up to Blair Hollyman, at least for right now.
So now, everyone's completed their scheduled service to make it to the end on fuel here. So now we look to get to the end. Coming around to 11 to go. Next time by at the stripe here. Hoke looking to chip away the gap. Last time by 1/10 quicker than Blair Hollyman. Andrew Teft. He's under attack by someone on the top line though. Alex Gates trying to run the wall, trying to build up a run. Couldn't get alongside yet. But he is trying to stay up to the wall while the others follow the draft of Hollyman.
Not a bad move, a little bit of a peek and a full look down the inside of the 55. Andrew Teft says, hello, thank you. You mind if I put my elbows out right here? Not even necessary. Almost gets the move completely done down the backstretch. I think he'll have it if not for the help that Alex Gates is giving to Truth Hoke on the outside. Almost going 3 wide. Really good fight back here from the 55. I'll say that for sure.
A bit of a slide of the tires for the 55. Gap is down a half a second. A big push from Gates. Trucks don't like pushes to the back too much in terms of evenness. And now Hoke is clear. Able to get to under 4/10 now as the 77 of Gates looks to get around Tef now. He does move Gates to third.
I genuinely thought that we were going to see Gates get into second place, but I'll tell you what, Andrew Tef did a great job of helping Hoke out. That would eventually help him out. And look at this. Hoke's going to make a move to the lead of this race. Can't do it. The 77 has a run as we get to the start-finish line. 4 drivers under a blanket. 5 make it.
Looking to fight for the race lead. Under 10 laps to go. Hoke on the inside. Outside Gates trying to set things up on Hoyman. Hoke trying to slide it in front. You're even 3 wide with a crossover.
Oh man, this is awesome racing. Awesome stuff in the final stages of this race. We're coming to 8 to go, and still so many drivers with a chance to take the checkered in P1.
Hoyman does lose the lead. He ends up in the wall. Here comes Teft up the middle. He shoots it 3 wide. Biggest run out of the 3 for the 98. Now he equalizes out as Hope keeps the edge in front. They also have in the mix here lap traffic in Alex Teft. Lap traffic trying to stay to the high side. All while Hope side by side with Teft down the back straightaway. The 98 tries the side draft.
Wait a second, the 98, of course, has a brother in this, sort of this battle right here. Is that going to play a factor?
That's going to be a good question. If they end up getting close, will it be brotherly love and teammate working together late in this one? Right now, Alex Teft is only behind Holyman. He's not made the move to the inside to join Andrew yet. Now he does to get alongside Holyman. Huge run. Now he looks to try and find a way forward here. He goes behind the 98.
This is some massive teamwork right here. And, of course, brotherly love. We're not in Philadelphia. We're on the opposite coast. But we're definitely getting a little bit of that. The 98, does he clear? No, not yet. Almost to the complete lead.
Andrew, Alex Teft now tries to unlap himself. Still side by side for the race lead. 5 to go next time by. There's Alex Teft now feeding draft to Andrew.
You know, I hate sometimes seeing lap cars get involved in battles to slow down other drivers. The 98 was getting help from his brother, from his teammate. That was some awesome, just teamwork. Just beautiful teamwork. Still side by side. The 98 and 55, neither want to relent, neither want to give him. The 77 wants to run on the outside line.
Andrew Teft got a better run through 4 though. Slides up in front of Hope. Slams the door. Top 3, single file, 5 laps to go. Hope now forced to the inside. It's been a better line for the 98 this run. Will the 55 be able to do something to get the top line to slow down? Philip Archibald's in the wall on the top line. That forces Teft out of it.
My goodness, that could have been a detrimental way for this great battle to go, and run way down to the apron. That back marker goes for the time being. Coming to 4 laps to go. My oh my, what a race we have here. The 98 to the full out lead.
Now he's trying to build a cushion. He's got the freshest tires outside of Gates in this lead pack, mind you. Holyman starting to lose ground and fast. No lap traffic around to play a factor. And now it's going to be difficult. What does Hope do here, Dylan, to be able to get this done? It seems like he's trying to find clean air for the front nose.
Man, your guess is as good as mine right now. Not only does he want to attack, but he also has to defend. And right, look at that, right on target, right on cue. We start to see a bit of blinking from the 98. How much is that going to impact this battle for the race win? Coming to 3 laps to go. Is it a 3-truck breakaway right now? It may very well be. Holyman, remember, way older tires to the rest of the field, but Brandon Sanfilippo, remember, I talked about him around 15 to 20 laps ago. He has the freshest tires in the field. He might make a run for this race win.
A lot of opportunities here, coming to 2 laps to go. Now Andrew Tept is starting to take off, starting to build a bumper. Hoke getting some pushes. Now Gates trying to pass him. Gates wants a chance on his own, but the outside hasn't been working through 3 and 4 to get the run he needs. 2 laps to go for Moto Club.
Oh, this is just awesome racing. What a start to the season. Next time by, we'll see the white flag, and then anything goes on the final lap of the race. A crash would still keep the race under green, because guess what? This is iRacing. We don't have to deal with safety.
Some exciting racing all night long, and right now, Hope needs some good momentum to have a chance here for the race win. Gates is more focused on battling for second than anything else, though. Tapped in control, 2 tenths up. White flag is out. Final time around here on Maconi Entertainment. Hope with an air run.
It looks like only 3 trucks have a chance to get this race win. The 55 unsettled on the run down into turn 1. The 98 loves what he's seeing. Oh, right into the wall. The 77 and 55 come together. Have they handed the race win away? I believe they have.
Unreal. Gates trying to keep it high side. Truth Hoke ends up coming up into him and stopping on the track. Andrew Tept coming out of the final corner will celebrate and pick up the win to start off the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series season.
What a finish.
He led 21 times tonight. He's able to come away with the top advantage today. Blair Hyman led 27 but only came up 3rd. Sanfilippo finished off in 2nd after all the strategy, getting him plus 16 on the race. And a fun day coming to an end here for these drivers.
That was just spectacular racing all around, JP. I mean, we went green the entire way right there. I mean, if that's what we saw from the first race of Season 8, I cannot wait to see what the rest of this year will bring.
So Andrew Tept will take the time to celebrate. One of the league administrators showing why he's been a back-to-back champion in this series with how he's been able to drive his truck. Not a lot of velocity on this burnout, is there?
I mean, what more could you want, right? Just a relaxing burnout, if you will, after 80 intense laps of racing. You know, you have to think about it this way, JP. When you're running that long in the sim without a kind of any break except for just the 12 to 15 seconds you've got in your pit stall each time, that is taxing. And engine is blown. Goodbye.
Take the time to step aside for a quick moment when we come back post-race coverage. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of Racers Elite.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Auto Club for tonight's coverage of Racers Elite in the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series, where in the end, Andrew Teft comes away with the opening win of the season. Teft over Sanfilippo, Hollyman, Thomas, and Gates, the top 5, with Smith, Wayne Scott, along with Ecker, Fox, and Yost Jr., your top 10, Dylan.
Continuing down the leaderboard, Haas Beverly, 17 seconds back. Truth Hoke. Oh man, what could have been for the driver in the 55 back in 12th, Frank Chavez in 13th. Alex Teft, who definitely gave a little bit of help near the end to Andrew Teft, his brother and teammate, finishes on the lead lap. Philip Archibald will finish 1 lap down, while Steve Castle also will join him there. Barry Nelson, Alan Bergen, and Sean Dunaway round out your 19 truck field after 80 green flag laps.
That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight in this one here in Racers Elite. Let's take the opportunity to speak with our top front runners here tonight. Andrew Teft comes away with the opening win of the season. Andrew, talk to us about that battle for the race win. So much activity to try and get that edge there.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. Felt like everybody had a shot at it. There was a lot of fun. Yeah, it seemed like tires mattered a little bit, so I was just trying to go a little bit longer than everybody else and have a little bit more grip to turn under people at the end. And it was a really fun battle with Truth there, lap after lap. Seemed like he kind of burned up his right front or something there at the end, but was able to, get on the outside of him and block the top, and that was really what was critical there.
Overall, though, how describe the fun factor of the start of this new season, especially with your league going green flag checkered?
Yeah, we do that quite a bit here, believe it or not. It's a really good group of respectful guys. I can't even talk, but yeah, I'm always impressed when we're able to do that, and I don't know, it was just really fun, intense, side by side battles, and I don't know what more you can ask for.
Well, next time out it's Texas Motor Speedway. Your thoughts are going to Texas for a late day race once again?
Usually all right there. I'm glad we don't have to shift the next gen cars. You gotta usually shift to fourth and turn 1 and 2, and not really a big fan of that. So it'd be nice to just leave it in fourth gear and do some racing.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for helping out in the booth. My team, our servicemen and women, friends, family, everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race. And if you want to check us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. You can find all the info there, schedule, standings, Discord invites, the whole 9 yards.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, Andrew.
Thanks, fellas.
Andrew Teft gets the job done. Brandon Sanfilippo finished off in the second spot. He is with Dylan.
Yeah, Brandon, really nice run there. I thought that you would almost be within that half second more by the time that last lap incident happened. Just take us through your thoughts, especially on that last lap, seeing that mess in front of you.
Yeah, I knew I was catching him on the relative, and I knew it was going to come close. I just thought, man, I've only had a few more laps. So I was planning on being a little bit short, but I thought maybe I could catch Blair. I'd look like he had burnt his stuff a little bit earlier than the rest of them. So I was just hoping my tires didn't fall off and kind of even out with the guys in front. But yeah, as soon as that wreck happened, I just cut to the bottom and prayed none of them cut down. And then after that wreck, I didn't know Blair was still ahead of me, so I thought, oh crap. So I just slid up in front of him in 4 and kind of blocked him a little bit there at the end to steal P2.
I feel like you're being disingenuous to yourself. I wouldn't say that's stealing. I think you put yourself in a good strategy to have the freshest tires at the end. Was that something you kind of made your bed with earlier in the race, that you knew you wanted to have a really short final stint?
Yeah, and just, the odds of it being the first league race, you have new drivers, people don't race with each other, so I thought the odds of a caution are pretty good. Luckily we didn't have one. It's nice to go, green to checkered, but yeah, I was hoping just to stay out and be the leader. at an opportune time for a caution. But I knew if I didn't, I'd still have fresh tires and be able to catch some people, hopefully with some clean air.
Well, you almost got that one final position made up, but P2, great way to start the season. Brandon, I want to hear who you have to thank tonight.
Yeah, my friends and family who watch every weekend. I appreciate you guys, especially my girlfriend Lindsay tuning in. Andrew Teff for putting on a league. Tinsley, Alex Gates, Driving Extreme Incorporated, our race team. A lot of fun teaming up with them. And San Filippo Solutions, and you guys for putting on a stellar broadcast.
Why, thank you very, very much. Brandon Sanfilippo, P2 on the night. Congrats once again.
Thank
you. JP?
Good run for Brandon Sanfilippo as he finishes off at second. And the nickname for Blair Hollyman is Gambler when it comes to in the Discord server. Blair, you gambled tonight with some undercut strategy. How would you describe that as in the end it gets you still a top 3 after the incidents involving the lead pack at the end?
Yeah, the trying to undercut there, it's kind of the coin flip. If you can save tire while you're getting up to speed there, like those opening 5 or 6 laps, you can try to save a little bit of tire. It works out. I didn't really save much tire at all there, but yeah, it worked. I finished where I started, so I can't complain there.
So, overall though, how would you describe the feel of the truck to be able to drive the lines you did here at Auto Club tonight?
Yeah, the truck actually felt pretty good. Up high, while the tires are still nice and fresh, the truck really didn't want to slide around. Like it didn't feel like it was sliding. Might have looked like it was, but in the truck didn't feel like it. And when I got time to run the bottom, it was just trying to back up the corner entry and hit the apex of the corner and try not to dance up too much toward the wall and exit because when the truck starts pushing off, that's when you're starting to lose speed. But all in all, the truck felt really good for custom fix setup, I guess you'd say. Pretty good. This truck felt really nice for the 80 laps.
Indeed, and on that note here tonight, your thoughts on Texas Motor Speedway as that's the next race on the schedule?
Texas is one of those few tracks that I have some good history running in with this league, and I've had some bad ones. There's 2 races, I think, in a row now that I've spun coming on the pit road. And in the other race that I didn't do such a thing, I actually won the race. So it's like, as long as I hit the marks and just keep in mind, turn 1 and 2 are a lot different than 3 and 4. We should be all right. It's just that's one of those tracks you gotta definitely save some tire for yourself because 3 and 4 might be wide open, but 1 and 2 sure is not.
Any shots you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, a couple quick ones. I know tonight we were running Truex paint scheme, but I want to give a shout out to my brother, team captain here, Yost. I know he had a decent finish this evening. I know the truck normally has a couple other sponsors on it, but I wanted to run an authentic replica today, so I didn't. Napa Holloman Napa Auto Parts, my cousin Taz's business. Of course, my pops, because I know he's watching, and my buddy Brian with ACR Autocore Recycling. Might have to add their sponsorship somewhere on the truck. I just didn't want to ruin the replica too much.
Congratulations on the run tonight here, Blair.
Thank you, guys.
Blair Hollyman rounds out the top 3. I'd like to take the time to thank the top 3 for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. An interesting night so far, and overall, Dylan, your thoughts on the racing?
Oh my gosh, if I said anything other than that was spectacular, I think I would be, I would have my broadcasting credentials stripped from me, and I wouldn't even be allowed to go to any motorsport race again. That was exactly what we like to see as racing fans, as racing commentators. It's exactly what I'm sure the drivers like to see, unless, you're struggling throughout the entirety of the night. But that was just perfect. I loved what we saw, especially for the first race of a new season. I cannot wait to see what we've got coming up for us next week at Texas.
Yes, indeed, and that will once again be on the 29th of July. Coverage starts with the green flag at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Catch that here on Maconi Entertainment. But now it is time to say goodbye. Like, thank everyone for tuning in. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Dylan Coyle. Christian Hill was producing. Thanks to all our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. Hope you stay tuned to all our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.